The Earth is flat. Further to that, we've got stupid lies about the sky being a vacuum when they composite together crap like this on screen now. The black area claimed to be a vacuum. I mean, is there any evidence that you can have gas pressure like the claim of all this high pressure gas in the form of clouds and all of the yummy air we're breathing on this claim to be place that we live? Total nonsense, composited together image. Yeah, any claim, proof that we can have gas pressure without any containment.
How can you have a core when you don't even have R?
Any evidence of the R value? That's Earth radius.
It's all refracted.
Can't see it, can't measure it. Alberuni screwed. Anybody trying to claim celestial horizon and dip correction to a geometric horizon is screwed. We wouldn't expect to see the geometric horizon. Nobody's claiming we see physical geometry. The geometric horizon only exists in the maths. These are all quotes from people who oppose us.
But didn't Alberuni measure the height of a mountain using the flat plane?
Yes, he did.
He had to.
No R in flat plane.
Yeah.
What's worse than that? He had no clue of refraction when he did it.
Well, Alberuni is going to become our story. He's now our hostile witness. You'll never hear anybody from the anti-flat Earth side quoting Alberuni as a globe proof ever again, because he's absolutely unequivocally our hostile witness. So Alberuni, where we depict the celestial sphere model being violated by a claim of a geometric horizon in Earth curve maths, for example, that's quite complex stuff, I'm not going to lie. But you can dilute that down to what is now going to become our story of how flat Earth got turned into a sphere. So sit down, little kiddie winkies, and listen to the story from a flat earther of Alberuni. Now, Alberuni needed to know how high his mountain was. So what he did was measure angles off a flat plane and compared them to get the height of the mountain. Very accurate it was too. So after establishing that the Earth was flat with his angle measurements to get the height, he goes up the mountain and then decides to violate his own flat Earth measurements of the height by claiming that the ground beneath the mountain is now curved. How beautiful and condensed that story becomes for us to show how a flat Earth requires angle measurements taken from it in order to progress your fundamentalist religious sphere belief that the ground you're going to measure as a flat plane to get angles is actually curving in violation of your first measurement. Just like Alberuni did, children. Yeah, that's our argument now. Alberuni's become ours.
And Eratosthenes.
It's true. I haven't heard them mentioned.
Go ahead, Aristophanes. Go ahead. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah,
if you can formulate it into a Jackanory story for children, that'd be even better.
Well, once upon a time, there was this guy that wore a dress, and his name was Eratosthenes. And he saw a stick with a shadow. And 500 miles away, he knew that the sun was beating straight down. So he used the flat Earth to measure an angle to the sun. And then, after he measured that angle to the sun using a flat Earth, he turned it around and said that wasn't actually a flat Earth. He was measuring an angle from the sun to Earth, and the Earth was curved. The end.
Yeah, measuring an angle from a curve? No. See how he violated his own claim after measuring an angle from a flat plane to the sun that's 500 miles away. He only got that angle off a flat baseline. That's the only way it's done. And how Earth is actually being measured and navigated to this day with celestial navigation, which uses the same very elevation angles to measure and navigate a flat plane. That's what the world is. The Earth is flat. Further to that, we've got stupid lies about the sky being a vacuum when they composite together crap like this on screen now. The black area claimed to be a vacuum. I mean, is there any evidence that you can have gas pressure like the claim of all this high pressure gas in the form of clouds and all of the yummy air we're breathing on this claim to be place that we live? Total nonsense, composited together image. Yeah, any claim proof that we can have gas pressure without any containment, to validate this idea that the sky is a vacuum, 10 to the minus 17 torr over in this black bit, but the high pressure gas isn't dissipating into it. Violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container?
Nope. You need either for a gas pressure situation or a vacuum, you require a container.
Well, that invalidates space, doesn't it? The sky is definitely not a vacuum then.
I'll use a teacher, quote unquote, as my hostile witness. Without the balloon, there can be no pressure.
That's Conspiracy Cat, one of many quotes where he details how a container is required. Yeah, this is nonsense. On screen right now, this is not your world. This is a lie. Now, we don't care about the motivation of the liars. What we do know is that this violates natural law. Gas fills space. Ergo, if this was true, as you are told, then the gas we breathe would fill the availability of volume it has to disperse into, because there's nothing impeding it. Gas moves in all directions, all vectors, and fills the availability of volume it has. Ergo, if the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. We wouldn't be breathing if the sky was a vacuum. It's a volume for gas to fill.
They just give you where we have gas pressure already. I'm tired of arguing with them. Phil Bell, same one. Why doesn't it all just rush right up to 100 psi? It's crazy.
It does. Number one, there is air at the top of mountains. Well, where's that air created? Is there loads of vegetation on the top of Everest creating the gas for you to breathe up there? No, there is not. The gas has been created at ground level and made its way up to the top of Everest. Why has it done that? Well, because that's what gas does. It disperses. So in spite of it being made at ground level by all the yummy vegetation we eat and turns all of that carbon dioxide into oxygen, you remember this from school? Yeah, well, that process happens at ground level. It doesn't happen in midair. But yet there's gas in the air because it's making its way up. That's what gas does. Expands in all directions, all vectors, to fill the availability of volume that it has to fill. Now, if the sky was a vacuum, that would be an availability of volume for gas to fill. And the very first gas particle that was created at ground level would never, ever, ever come back. It would just disperse into a volume, 10 to the minus 17 torr, and continue forever. We'd have never developed gas pressure in the first place if this black area on screen was a vacuum. We just wouldn't have any gas pressure to breathe. Any more on gas pressure? If not, that concludes the housekeeping. Nope. Again, 120 people watching. Could we do more, please?